everyone. Hello and welcome to a rapid fire version of Biters.
Yeah, we are going to make this quick because we don't have a lot to say about either of them for once.
And I actually think I probably have more to say about Fear than you do, but I don't have much to say about World Beyond again.
Yeah, and the reason why I don't think I have much to say about Fear is because it's one of those episodes that basically spoke for itself. I loved it. So
I am going to say before we even get into our ratings of Fear that I think I'm in the minority. Most of the people that I've heard from, including you, really loved it, and I just didn't. So, yeah, maybe I'm just a curmudgeon this week.
That is entirely possible.
It is entirely possible. The puzzle has gone to pieces.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I actually really liked that expression for like when everything fell apart. That was one of the better expressions. That's probably the only thing positive I will ever say about Ginny.
I did not hate her this episode. I'm sorry.
Really?
I just really liked this episode.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh.
This episode may be longer than we think.
All right. Well, so we are here to talk about Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 4, The Key, and Walking Dead World Beyond Season 1, Episode 5, Madman Across the Water.
So,
I do have a few numbers for last week.
All right.
So Alaska was down in the ratings again, which kind of bummed me out because I thought that was a really great episode. Fear has been holding fairly steady, so they premiered at 1.59 million, and they're down to 1.5 million. Walking Dead World Beyond is also holding fairly steady, so the episode right before The Wrong End of a Telescope was 1.04 million views. Wrong End of a Telescope was 1.02 million views. So they're both holding pretty steady. And I read tonight that World Beyond is the fourth most popular series on AMC right now.
Huh.
Which I was just going to say,
there's not a lot on.
That just tells me there's not a lot showing on AMC right now.
Yeah. And so was there a Fear the Walking Dead? I think that there was.
Was there what?
I'm sorry, a Talking Dead.
Oh, so I actually got a message from Phil, and he said, hey, so Talking Dead is only available on AMC Plus. And I was like, okay, I have AMC Plus through Amazon, and I'm not getting it. So I'm wondering if the people who are getting like the AMC premiere are the ones who are getting it.
Yeah.
That would be a Diana and Thomas O'Mara question.
So I also have Prime Video and...
did you end up buying AMC through that?
I have
Because I thought you said you were doing it via Sling.
I am getting it through Sling. So there was no Talking Dead on Sling, but when you go to... Talking Dead on Prime Video, the button is watch with AMC Plus. Start your 7-day free trial.
So, and that's what I've got through Amazon because it's a way for me to easily access AMC. Right. And I can actually, if I time it right, I can watch AMC live. I just don't time it right because of the way that my life is right now. So
right. So I probably will not be watching The Talking Dead until the Prime show comes back because this is horrible, but during COVID, when they're doing it via Zoom, I don't feel that it's worth it. I'm sorry.
Well, so the question that I have for you is, do you actually think that they're going to do it live and not via Zoom when Walking Dead is back?
Oh, no, they won't do it when... I don't think that will happen. But I'm just saying, for Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond,
It's just not worth it to you to make the extra effort.
it's a third hour of TV that I have to watch.
Right.
Not like I don't, watch TV anyway, but it's just a third hour of TV I have to watch, and then I have to pay $9 a month just for that one show.
And see, I'm not buying Sling. I don't have any other reason to have it. So right now, my TV is either whatever I can get on Amazon
Or Netflix.
Or whatever I can download as a podcast. Like, I listen to the news broadcasts that I would normally watch as TV, as podcasts.
Yeah. So I kind of think that AMC is shooting themselves in their foot for this money, with this money grab.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to tell you that I'm glad to have a way to access AMC without having cable.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where...
You're just being whiny.
I
thought I was the grumpy one.
No, I'm just saying that, the old brown cow ain't what she used to be. And you can't charge that much for her anymore.
So the only thing that I would say is that, they repeatedly demonstrated throughout the beginning of COVID that, Chris Hardwick's Skype connection isn't any better than ours is.
Yeah, he owns he owned a ID10T. He is podcaster original, and I don't know why his stuff is so bad.
Yeah, not the content, but the presentation.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, his sound is terrible. It's just... So I'm just saying that they need to... I have Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond on Sling. They need to give you Talking Dead also. If they're going to give you the show, they need to give you the after show, because I don't feel that the after show is worth me subscribing to an extra streaming thing.
And fair enough. And I honestly have looked for it in the last couple of weeks. I did not look for it this week. Maybe I could have gotten it this week. I didn't dig.
Yeah. I think
because someone threw off my podcasting schedule.
Oops. All right.
Funny.
That's my rant about Talking Dead is I don't want to pay for another streaming service for just the Talking Dead.
Well, so once again, we're going to be completely discombobulated. Let's talk about our featured cast and do our news first, and then we'll go into dealer's choice. You can pick whichever series we talk about first.
Okay.
All right. So you decided, and I agreed, that our featured cast should be Elton.
Yep. So, Nicholas Cantu, he doesn't have a whole lot of credits to his name, but...
He's actually got 22 actor credits on IMDb.
He does.
And I'm going to tell you something really fast, which will make you laugh. When I was looking at them, I said to myself, you are very old.
Okay.
Because I kind of sort of recognized some of the stuff. I know what Lego Star Wars is. I've never watched it. I know what Biz Aardvark is. I've never watched it. I thought, oh man, I'm officially old.
So his biggest thing seems to be, and I don't know it, The Amazing World of Gumball.
Although the dragon thing looked like it was a fairly big thing too, because there was a series and a movie that went with it.
So people still call him Gumball. His fans still call him Gumball. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Corduroy has fans. I'm a terrible human.
So I will also say that I felt very, very old when I watched some of his YouTube channel.
Oh, I bet.
I don't really understand his humor, but he's a teenage boy, so...
Oh my god. Now I know we're old. I don't really understand his humor.
Well, and he did a video on Minecraft and things like that, and I'm just I don't do Minecraft.
Oh my god,
all.
That is totally my godson's thing.
Yeah.
I have been forced to watch... not hours, but enough Minecraft where I'm like, really? Really? Okay.
Yeah, I guess when we were kids, they told us the TV was going to rot our brain, and then it was video games were going to rot our brain. But now I'm really convinced
That
that
Minecraft rots your brain?
Minecraft is going to rot your brain. But there are people out there totally making a living doing, like Twitch live streams. That used to be YouTube live streams, and they have sponsors and subscribers, and you do you. Like,
Oh my god, I think I told you that one of the children of the friend that I'm renting from was telling me how he was going to monetize his YouTube channel and his gaming, and I was like, all right, good on ya, have at it. I'm just going to get up and chart and go to work and chart some more and come home and chart again.
And podcast, and some of my listeners actually live in other countries, and you have no idea who I am, so good luck with your YouTube channel, kiddo. I wish you all the best.
Okay, so we have officially established that Nicholas Cantu is way too young for either of us to truly appreciate.
Yes, absolutely. So he actually, I will say that I liked his Facebook page more than any of his other social media. So he has 2 Twitter accounts. He has an Instagram, which is mostly just the stuff on his main Twitter account. But the pictures that he has on his Facebook page are stuff from the set. And there are some really, really cool photos. The first one that pops up is from episode 4, and it's him in front of like the walkers in one of the classrooms, the like kind of jumbled pile of bodies in the class. So, like,
you mean that terrible lost episode in the high school?
Yes. So really quickly, I will go through his social media handles.
Oh, I did want to say before you did his social media handles, the one thing that I've actually watched other than The World Beyond that he's been in was a couple of episodes of The Good Place. He was actually in an episode of The Good Place.
Was he?
He was. That was literally the only thing where I was like, oh my god, he's actually been in something that I've watched other than a Walking Dead property.
He played Raymond. I don't remember that.
Well, it was just a one-off thing, so...
Okay.
And I mean, I don't think I've seen the episode that he was in, and it certainly wasn't memorable if I have.
Right.
But...
And I binged the whole thing, like, all 4 seasons in, like, 2 weeks, so...
I know.
Yeah. So... His first Twitter account is at Junkie Janker.
Nice.
He is. His bio says YouTube dude and blue television cat.
Oh, so that I wonder if it looks like he's done some voiceover stuff. So I wonder if that's what that's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang, I do feel really stinking old right now.
I know, right? So his other Twitter handle is at Kentu Schmentu.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
I know, I can actually kind of appreciate that. So I love this Twitter bio. It says, even worse tweets. Okay, I said I don't get his humor. Most of his humor, like, down in his tweets and stuff, like, I just was like, I guess if you're a teenage boy, that's funny, but okay. So his Instagram is also at Junkie Janker. If you're looking for a guy that's a Jedi, a blue cat, and kills zombie now, that guy is me. I also do YouTube. So his YouTube channel is Junkie Janker. He's got 4 videos, but 2 things that are not on his channel. There are 2 stand-up comedian. They're one's 9 minutes long and one's only a minute and a half long. I am not kidding you. He looks like he is 5 years old doing. And I'm not kidding. Like, I don't know kids' ages, but like he can't be more than 6 or 7. Like he's he's funny. He's a funny
He
kid.
doesn't look a whole heck of a lot older than that now.
I know, right? His IMDb photo is much, much better than Elton. Anything that, like, looks like Elton. So we will just say that. Let's see. He is a middle child. He was born in Austin, Texas.
Oh. That's interesting because Austin is where Fear has been largely based.
Right.
So.
Right. So his mother noticed that he was unusually alert and social and very aware of his surroundings. He's been interested in acting since 7.
All I have to say is that every mother says that.
You know, he seems to be super outgoing, though. Like, I feel like he is not like his character Alton at all.
Yeah, but like the whole unusually alert and social, that's what a mother says about their 3-month-old who's farting. They're really smiling because they have gas. They're not unusually alert and social.
That's funny.
I'm terrible.
We are, like, child-free by choice, and we're terrible. So he started being in school plays. The first one was The Bear Went Over the Mountain. And so it looks like they moved to San Antonio, he did 3 national commercials in San Antonio. So that's sort of kind of where he got his kind of acting bug is, you know, young man in school, and then did some commercials. He's done spots for Old Navy, and then all of the shows that we don't know.
I'm sorry. I realized after listening to The Real Housewives that I laugh way too loud. I apologize for blowing everyone's eardrums out, but that was funny.
I'm really glad that I was able to turn my headphones down. I don't know how they got so ear-ringingly loud tonight, but yeah. So, I mean, I really didn't have that much on him because I said he hasn't done a lot. He has done a lot, but not a lot that I think people our age would know. So yeah, I'm sure this has absolutely catapulted his career, you know, to however far he wants to take it. So congratulations to him.
I'm just going to say props to the young Elton, Roger Dale Floyd. He was delightful, and he actually had a part in Dr. Sleep, which was the sequel to The Shining.
I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Okay. So did you recognize him? I actually haven't seen it, but I remember when you're going to laugh at me when the book came out. And I remember all of my friends who love The Shining talking about it. Like Jason from the Walking Dead cast. He's a big Shining fan.
So I feel like I remember him. There was a couple of kids in the episode. And, you know, if you don't know what it's about this, I want to call them traveling bands of gypsies, but like gypsies is a like slur now. But that's kind of how they looked. And they kind of sucked the life out of children with shine, like the kid from The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he was like the little baseball player or something. Maybe. He was either the little baseball player or the kid at the lake. So, yeah. Dr. Sleep was an amazing movie. I loved it. Stephen King has this weird thing about killing kids. I don't know what it is, but...
Gee, you know, there's no relationship between him and, like, people on The Walking Dead killing kids.
Right? Right? I don't know why I seem to be drawn to those movies. Terrible person. All right, so that's all I had about Nicholas Cantu. Don't know what he's going to do after year 2 of World Beyond, but...
He's going to monetize his YouTube channel.
Hey, little dude's got like 433,000 subscribers, so...
Right, I mean, yeah. He's going to monetize his YouTube channel. I'm going to get up, go to work, come home and work, get up in the morning and work before I go to work, and then work and come home and work. So good on him.
I don't even go to work. My work is in my home. So, yeah, like, live your best life, Nicholas Cantu.
So I don't have tons in the Whisperer's Corner. I just wanted to briefly touch on Eric Kane's review of World Beyond and his review of Fear the Walking Dead. They were both kind of boring reads, honestly, which usually he makes me laugh, even though there are sometimes I want to throat punch him, like when he says stupid things about nurses. No, I still haven't let that go.
He needs to retract it.
Yeah, he does need to retract it. He said of The World Beyond that it's decent, but still slow. He called Fear the Walking Dead the John Dorie show. And he really liked it. So I was
going to say, is that a bad thing?
I really do think I'm in the minority, and it's not because I don't love John Dorie. I love John Dorie. We'll get into what I didn't like about it.
Okay.
There is a rumor that Rick returns in the World Beyond Season 1 finale. So I didn't realize this, but there are some users on IMDb who can go in and edit, just like anybody can edit a wiki page.
Mm-hmm.
So someone edited the entry for the Season 1 finale of World Beyond and put Andy Lincoln's name there. Walking Dead was like, no, he's not in it. Don't expect it. So I just thought I would put that rumor out there and then put it to rest.
Maybe. I mean, I kind of feel like if something leaked, that would be their response now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you know what? I mean, I feel like he's made it pretty clear that the next time we'll see him as Rick Grimes is in the movies. So, I mean, I've really gotten the feeling from him that he's not going to come back to any of the series.
Okay, so because of the CRM kind of like crossover stuff, I feel like maybe they will allude to something Rickish, and that'll be the Rick is in the last episode. They'll be like, I don't know, like
a guy with short, dark hair from the back in cowboy boots. Although, no, Michonne has his cowboy boots. Never mind.
A chart that somebody will be working on that says Rick.
Too funny. Let's see. There was a really good theory that Ginny is somehow related to Georgie. Remember, Georgie is the chick that Maggie took off with?
Yeah.
So, Season 8, Episode 12 of the main series is called The Key. Which is the title of tonight's Walking Dead episode.
Is Georgie the short for Georgia? Because you've got Virginia, Dakota, Georgia.
I don't know. I'm not going to dispute that. I think anything's possible. The thing that's very interesting is her manifesto. Remember the book that she had was called A Key to the Future, which is basically the language that Ginny uses in her speech when she's giving John the key.
Wow.
This is not my theory. I cannot take credit for it. This is something that I read while I was looking at Walking Dead news today, but I was like, that's a good one.
It is. I would love it. I would love to have, like, there just being little threads put here and there in the Walking Dead universe that it's all related.
Well, and I mean, it obviously is. I mean, the CRM is, if nothing else, that's our thread that, yes, everything really is related.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a cool theory, and I like it. And I would be fine seeing it come to fruition.
Ditto.
The only other thing that I had in Whisperer's Corner, and this is really cool, and Phil sent this to me, but I'd actually read it earlier today. So Andrew Lincoln is going to play Ebenezer Scrooge in a live stream version of A Christmas Carol. It's going to be live streamed from the Old Vic, which is, a famous theater in England. And there are going to be 16 performances starting December 12th and running through December 24th. Basically what you do is you go online, you go online and you purchase tickets for it, and then I don't know if you basically like Zoom in to watch it, I guess. There's 80,000 tickets for sale. I didn't do the math. I don't do conversions from euros. So if anyone wants to get online and look at the article and do the math, it's out there. I'm not sure how much your ticket will cost you. But Andy Lincoln is Ebenezer Scrooge.
Every time I hear about somebody doing a live show of A Christmas Carol, all I can think is the movie Scrooged.
So I will say that apparently this particular production of A Christmas Carol was originally staged back in 2017 and got rave reviews for being a terrific version of A Christmas Carol. This is the first time Andy Lincoln will have done the role of Ebenezer Scrooge, but I thought it was kind of cool. So, I mean, you and me, we could either buy tickets to go to a TST event live, or we could live stream Andy Lincoln as Ebenezer Scrooge. You decide how you want to spend your money.
Yeah, unless he shows up at some chick's door with cue cards.
Now, wait a minute. You hate that movie.
I hate that movie.
Now, what if Lucian Greaves showed up at your door with cue cards?
I would totally go with him.
I'm sorry, I'm being loud into the microphone again. And for people who don't know who Lucian Greaves is, you need to listen to our podcast, The Real Housewives of Alaska, which is finally up on iTunes today. Yay! But, just be aware that it's extremely lefty. So there you are.
And it's really adult content. So the first episode was kind of fun, a little lighthearted. The second episode didn't have too much controversy when it comes to like being adult content. But our third episode, which we just podcasted yesterday, was a very, very heavy episode. So just be aware.
But fantastic.
It was. All of the documentaries that we have watched, I would absolutely recommend. If you'd like to know what documentaries we have watched and podcasted about, you can like us at The Real Housewives of Alaska on Facebook.
Yes. There you go. And you don't even have to listen to it and listen to our lefty opinions. You can just see what we're talking about. Who knows?
Go watch the documentary.
Yeah, you might want to slip in and watch one documentary that's intriguing to you and not listen to the whole shebang.
Right.
Which kind of leads me into Housewives Housekeeping, because the first thing was we're finally up on iTunes. And I was planning on posting our third episode, which is about the documentary City of Joy, tonight. I don't think that's going to happen because I have some work that I have to do for work. So I will get it posted tomorrow night, hopefully.
No hurry.
The other thing that I wanted to say in Housewives Housekeeping, and I said this on The Real Housewives of Alaska last night, way to go, America, for getting out the early vote.
Dang. It's crazy.
It's crazy, and it's awesome, and I'm so proud of everyone, even the people who voted the way I don't want them to vote. I'm so proud of everyone for getting out there and voting.
Right. I mean, so we don't even know how the vote has turned out yet, because tomorrow is election day, and I don't even think we'll know then.
I don't think we will either.
But it is amazing how many records have been broken for voting. So, and in a pandemic. So good on you.
Yeah. I quite agree. Good job, America. If nothing else, we've done something right in 2020.
I have voted in every single presidential election since I turned 18. And I think I was actually 19 with the year I could vote in a presidential election. But since I have moved back to Juneau, I have voted in even the local elections. And it always disappoints me when it's like, oh, we have 23% turnout. I'm like, people, These are the people that decide your lives. Local elections actually more than anything because
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that decide your property taxes. They're the, you decide what judges get, stay or go on your state Supreme Court.
Whether or
These are
not
the
that
people.
pothole's getting fixed, whether or not that school's getting funded.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the people that are actually going to have say in your day-to-day life. So, I mean, if the guy that I don't want to be elected gets elected tomorrow or within the next week or whatever, you know what? I'm still going to get up and go to work every day and pay my taxes and feed my dog and, all that good stuff. But it's just so much easier if, like, my property taxes don't go up unless I decide that I want them to go up because I want more school funding or whatever. So, yeah, just vote.
So the only other thing I have for Housewives housekeeping, the only other thing I have is that Rob let me know that the 2020 gift guide for Biters and for the Real Housewives should drop on Friday. You can support Southgate Media by shopping on Amazon and buying things for fans of those podcasts as recommended in the gift guide. I did put a couple of links to TST in the Real Housewives gift guide, so, because everybody needs a mug.
Yep, everybody needs a mug, and they need to restock their hoodies, so I can get a couple of those. I'm going to harp on it until they do it.
And candle wick trimmers, if you are a candle person, are voodoo. That's all I have to say.
And I have to tell you, if you don't trim your wicks, you wind up with smoke, and then you spend an entire day cleaning the walls of your bathroom because you like to have candles when you take a bath. And it sucks. So, wick trimmers.
All right. What TV series are we talking about first?
I think we should do World Beyond. I think we've kind of been starting off with that one because it's not our favorite. So
You mean we've been ending with that one because it's not our favorite?
No, we like to end on a high note with fear.
Okay. I see what I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Okay, so The World Beyond, Season 1, Episode 5, Madman Across the Water. How did you rate it?
So I rated it a 3.5 decade-old bottles of nail polish. Yeah, I have issues about that nail polish.
Okay, I am going to confess to the biters right now that I don't feel particularly qualified to even be podcasting about this series because I really did what I said I was going to do, which is I watched it once. And
I only watched it once, but I watched it once like an hour ago.
You paid more attention than I did. And I was kind of like, really frankly, if I missed something, oh well. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with this series. So I rated it 3.1 baby Eltons out of 5.
Aww.
I actually rated it a little higher, actually quite a bit higher than last episode because it wasn't as painful. I don't know, maybe I'm numb now because last episode was just so awful. I'm like, okay, nothing could be worse than last episode.
Oh, it can.
Oh, God, don't say
Fear
that.
The Walking Dead. We've seen it with Fear the Walking Dead,
Yeah.
and Fear the Walking Dead has pulled it out of the ditch. So, yeah. I have hope.
All right.
Hope springs eternal.
Yes, she does, even though she kills people. Okay, so the title, Madman Across the Water, I was like, where do I know that? Of course, it's an Elton John song. And it's also the name of the album that he published in 1971.
See, this is why we're such good podcasters together, is because I did not bother Googling it because it didn't sound familiar to me, and I just assumed it was because of the very end scene of the episode.
Okay, and I initially assumed that as well, but I was like, no, I'm fairly sure that's an Elton John song. And then my question for you, because you watched it way more closely than I did, is did they talk at all about naming Elton after Elton John?
No, they did not.
So it's just someone in the writer's room being clever.
Yeah, the only talk of naming was Elton wanted to name his little sister Eliza.
Esmeralda.
Esmeralda.
See, I actually did pay attention to something.
For some reason, I was thinking Eliza Doolittle, but it was Esmeralda, and that makes me think of Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Quasimodo!
Yeah.
Yes, me too.
Which, it's a perfectly good name. If your name is Esmeralda, it's beautiful.
If your name is Esmeralda and you've made it this far with us in Biters, we don't want to alienate you.
Send us some feedback.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I have feedback tonight that I have to do because I feel so bad that I forgot to do it last week. Not want to forget.
I actually pulled it up like 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
So I was like, can't forget.
I did the same thing too. I'm looking at Biters' Facebook page right now. So our writer was a guy named Rohit Kumar. I hope I'm saying his first name properly. He has written for 13 Reasons Why, which I never watched. I'm guessing you did.
Oh my God, yes.
I know. I heard it was great. It just was
I have
one
not watched the most recent season. Again, heavy subject matter. Teen suicide is never a good thing. But the seasons that I have watched are amazing. I love it. Yeah.
So he wrote for that series and he's written for this series, and he has been an executive story editor on all episodes this season. And this is the first and thus far only one that he's credited with writing.
So I just have to say that your 13 Reasons Why writing was way better.
All right.
And maybe it's not the writing.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe it's just not speaking to us because we're too old to understand Nicholas Cantu.
Well, I actually did write down that I felt like it was a little after school special-y.
I can see that.
Yeah, like the whole raft building montage with the music was just a little too say no to drugs. And
it was totally the team building exercise. That's what every article I read referred to it as. So our director we have talked about before. So Dan Liu was the director. He has directed on Walking Dead. He directed Bonds and Warning Signs, which were 2019, 2018. And then he directed Some Guy, which was a King Ezekiel episode that still sticks in my brain as one that I really liked. So, on Fear, he wrote Channel 4, which was terrible. And he wrote Good Out Here, which wasn't a whole lot better. Or directed, excuse me. So yeah, that's Dan Liu. And he also, the other thing that I recognized was that he had directed an episode of NCIS, which again, I will never watch thanks to the X.
I don't think that I will ever finish it. I was pretty far in. I was 5 or 6 seasons in or something. And it's all just too much.
It's kind of like you've said before, Supernatural, we're 15 seasons in.
Oh, man, there was someone on TikTok the other night was okay, season 4 of Supernatural. Thank you for killing all my favorite characters. I'm like, shut up. I may watch TikTok.
You waste too much time on TikTok, just like I waste too much time on Facebook.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly admit I waste way too much time on TikTok.
All right. So good, bad, ugly for World Beyond.
Okay. So my good was actually a very minor good, but, and I think it's probably been our good before is, those really super desiccated walkers laying in the field that had flowers and stuff growing out of them.
I like that. And that was a callback to a walker that had grown into a tree in the main series.
These are the walkers that you expect to see 10 years in. And I am so happy that they have been doing this. And the whole, when they were building the raft, I kept thinking, oh my God, you guys need to watch out for walkers. Like, walker's going to stumble in at any moment and bite one of you because apparently, like, we're all deaf until they're like 6 inches from us. But like they're all laying in a field with flowers growing out of them, unless they have been covered by knockoffs of like Margaritaville, Daiquiri Town. What the hell was that? So I really liked the walkers in this episode in that the ones that are exposed to the elements are the ones that we expect, and we have seen them before in the show, that they are really not much of a threat because, they're so desiccated that they are immobile. So I really liked it. It was a cool visual. It continues to be a cool visual. Yeah. And I mean, that was the good part about the episode. So what was...
And I will say, this was not my good, but building on your good, points to the series for having done some good walkers. Again, the Wasp Walker is one of my favorite walkers ever.
Yes,
definitely. So yes, they get some props for that. So my good tongue-in-cheek was that it wasn't as painful as last week. But what I actually did put as my good, it was relatively small, but I was glad to get a little bit of Huck backstory. Now we understand why she's called Huck. Huckleberry Finn floating down the river on a raft.
I have thoughts about Huck.
Yeah, did you miss the Huckleberry Finn thing? I mean, that is that's like a book thing.
I totally get it.
I'm being bad.
No, I of course watched the movies. There are multiple movies, not just the Disney one. There's a black and white version, which counts as a book.
Okay, so that's so funny. The black and white version counts as a book. Phil, I need you to Steven that out for me and get that as a drop for. Would you say that again, Marn, just so you can get that really clearly?
The black and white version of a movie counts as reading a book.
Oh my god. All right, I will say one more thing about Huck, and then you can go into your bad. I keep noticing that scar on her face.
I do too. That is definitely part of her character.
It has become more prominent in the last 2 episodes.
I think so too.
Okay, it's not just me. I'm not just losing my mind.
Nope.
I am losing my mind, but
my next episode is going to be a festering wound on her cheek.
Oh my goodness. All right, what's your bad?
So the appearing and disappearing 15-minute storm. That was a convenient plot device that went away very quickly because all of a sudden we're having to rush because this thunderstorm is coming in, and then lightning strikes and the tree or whatever falls on, or tree or telephone pole falls onto the
Daiquiriville or what? Yeah.
Yeah. And let's loose all the walkers, and then the boys have to rush because the storm is 15 minutes away because of the plasma strike, and then we get the boat in the water and it's dark all of a sudden and there's no storm.
So I'm just wondering if it's related to the storm that shocked the Franken Walker in season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. Season 2, season 3.
Wow, you have good recall. Way to pull that one out. Jeez.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I expected them to get the boat in the water and okay, we're saved from the walkers. We've got the boat running, and now it's gonna be Gilligan's Island, 3-hour tour.
Well, they have to pick up the professor somewhere in upstate New York. So
right. Maybe that's the stranger across the lake or whatever. Madman across the water.
Madman across the water. Although it was really funny, one of the plot summaries that I was reading before we got on tonight kept referring to the episode as the Madman across the lake, and I was like, man, they're even worse than me. They paid even less attention than I did.
The dude on the other side of the river. Whatever.
The dude on the other side of the body of water.
After the non-storm. All right, what was your bad?
Oh, thank you for keeping me on task. My bad was the very obvious reveal of Elton's mom as the woman that Hope killed.
Oh, right. When she's like, I wish I could have met your dad and your mom.
Right. I mean, and it's just like, okay, when and how is that car gonna crash?
You don't have to say anything. Like, secrets are bad. I'm just saying that this is one you can take to your grave.
It would be wise, but she's an impulsive adolescent girl. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, like, that will be an interesting episode.
Who likes yelling at people? Although, after yelling at my ex-husband, yesterday, I understand liking yelling at people.
Yeah, so Cold and Dead Inside really tries to tamp down those feelings, but the mask slipped in a meeting last week, and it was a bad week.
You know, Cold and Dead Inside, I need to practice that more. I'm gonna try to do that tomorrow when I go to work, so wish me well.
Well, if we keep watching documentaries about women in the Congo, like, that's excellent training.
Dude, I was not Cold and Dead Inside. I wept both times. I watched that harder the second time.
I know, but you gotta hold it in. That's the training.
Oh, God. All right, I had one more small bad, and then you can have yours. Or
all right, my ugly.
You're ugly. Sorry.
Yep.
How did Huck suddenly get sold on keeping the kids going? Like, she was totally bought in with, okay, we're going to divide and conquer. I'm going to work on Hope, and we'll get this taken care of, and we'll get them turned around, and we'll head back to Omaha.
Because Hope has an ulterior motive, because she's a plant by CRM. That is my theory.
Oh, you mean Huck has an ulterior motive?
Yes, Huck.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I'm
not going to write it off.
Why is she splitting up from them and she'll be 48 hours away from them? Like, I'm going to go scout out, like, no, you're going to meet up with some CRM dudes.
I'm going to go meet the helicopter people.
Yeah. Or I'm going to radio in our location or whatever. Like, Huck is up to no good.
All right. I actually like that. That would be an interesting twist, and that would make this a little more worthwhile.
Her mysterious backstory where she was washed in on a boat or something, and, like...
is total bunk.
She doesn't have a name. People just started calling her Huck. She's CRM. Total plant.
All right. I'm good with that. I hope you're right. It will make it more interesting. Okay. You're ugly.
So my ugly was the very, very end scene because it gives us hope that things will become more interesting. The armed stranger.
Right? So...
yeah. And of course, scenes from the next episode, you kind of see that, there's a little bit of story. It's not like he's going to go, like, start whacking everybody in the head with the staff or whatever. Like... he's going to be a fully participating member of our cast for a little while. So it's going to get interesting. I swear to God, just stick with it.
All right.
Silence.
I'm going to try to pay better attention next week because I'm feeling so guilty that I didn't really do a decent job as a human or a podcaster on this episode this week.
No, you know what? The show is not speaking to me like Prime did, like Fear started to and keeps doing every once in a while. But so, I mean, none of these episodes would have hooked me as a viewer like season 1, episode 1, The Walking Dead. It's not there for me.
Although I just had a little feel. I miss Travis from Fear the Walking Dead. You're like, Travis. Who's Travis? Cliff Curtis? The guy from New Zealand who was Madison's boyfriend, husband?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was in Dr. Sleep.
Oh, well, there you go.
I saw it. I brought it all back around again.
I like how you did that.
All right, so what was your ugly?
So my ugly was actually a good ugly. I decided to be kind. And it was really young Elton. I just thought that kid did such a great job. And I realized that all he had to do was act terrified and then brave for a little bit. But he was so cute and he did such a fantastic job. I really enjoyed him tremendously. And we got the story of the dinosaur tooth. I still think it's a ridiculous weapon, but now we know why it was important.
Wait, I thought it was a rhinosaur, a horn from like a rhino or...
I thought it was like a dinosaur too. Oh, Triceratops. I think you're right.
Okay.
I think so. We were both sort of right.
Yeah.
It was from a dinosaur, but it wasn't a tooth.
I don't know. It just makes a stupid weapon.
I agree. It continues to be a stupid weapon. It needs to get broken.
Oh, yeah. Lost, whatever.
Yes. And then Elton can be mad at her for losing his fossil.
And then be mad at Hope for killing his mom.
Terrible person.
All right. I think this takes us straight into rotting potpourri because we swore this episode was going to be short.
Right. And I don't have any rotting potpourri. That's how short this is going to be.
Oh, no. So there was a lot that I kind of had a problem with this episode. And my rating was the decade-old nail polish.
Uh-huh.
So... any woman knows that like old nail polish
that it's like sludge after year 2.
Yes, absolutely. It does not turn that liquidy. It's not that liquidy in the beginning, and I'm pretty sure after 10 years. So my only thing is maybe it separates and the bottom is clumpy and there's a liquid top, but it's definitely not going to be like this blood red color that's all liquid. Nope. Yeah. No. And then it was so Felix and Huck, like after they gather all the supplies and they've pretty much put together the boat and the steam boiler, which is pretty much kids putting together a plane. I don't know. I guess maybe they could have the skills to put together, like, who knows what auto shop is like in
the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. So
good point.
So Felix and Huck are like, well, yeah, so maybe now we should pitch the whole like turning around and going back. Like, you've done all of this work and you're going to be like, okay, so now that we've got all the supplies and crafted this raft, let's just quit and turn around. Really? That's your plan? That's a terrible plan. The better plan was let's get across the river, go upriver past the whole tire fire thingy and cross north of it or whatever, because the bridges probably aren't blown out, one state up. That was a way better plan, but the whole, let's totally try and convince him to turn around now. That was dumb.
Again, I got nothing because I didn't really attend this episode.
Oh, that's okay. I have a little bit more, not too much. We already talked about the whole, I'm pretty sure Huck is part of CRM.
I like that theory. I'm good with that. That would make it more interesting.
So really the only other thing that I have is I was really upset, like the whole stringing the fishing line around the trees.
That actually made me happy that he did something kind of clever with the little fisherman, the little pocket fisherman, though.
Yes, and I'm glad he didn't abandon it. He actually cut the line and took it back. Because you can probably find more line somewhere, especially if you are going into places around a big river. But the whole, I'm just going to stand here and pick off the ones that go around. No, dude, that line is not going to hold unless that's like halibut fishing line, which is like 400-pound test. you need to like start poking those things in the head, right? Like you're standing there, they're pushing against the line, and you're just like, I'm gonna hold the line, but you're not gonna like kill any of them.
It's the world beyond version of letting walkers build up on the fence.
It is. It is. And you know how much we like that. So, not a terrible episode, not a great episode. I know you didn't like it too much, but I still have hope.
And so do we, unfortunately.
All right. So, moving on to Fear the Walking Dead.
All right. So, Fear the Walking Dead was called The Key, and we talked about the possible link between The Key episode 12 season 8 of the main series and this episode.
That's amazing. And so,
and again, totally not mine. I can't take any credit for it. I found it in the news.
People are so clever. Mm-hmm. Of course, you assume that it's because John Dorie eventually earned his key, and then at the end, we find out that Morgan's like, what the heck does this key open? So, well, it could have triple meaning.
And just like things being the key to other things. Just the way that like the mystery of this whodunit unraveled.
The earrings were the key.
Yes. And I will say that although this was not my favorite episode of Fear the Walking Dead, it was definitely not my least favorite episode of Fear the Walking Dead. I think that's probably going to have to go to the "We're the Munchkin crew and we rebuilt the plane."
Right? Like, I'm pretty sure those kids did not have a shop class or a mechanics class or something like the World Beyond kids did. Anyway, I'm completely willing to let the World Beyond kids slide on the whole steam boiler thing.
This is like not my least favorite. I'll just say that, but it's not my favorite. All right, I gave it 3.8 puzzle pieces out of 5.
You're gonna hate me.
Oh no, you rated it really high. I actually was gonna give it a 4, and then I was like, no, on rewatch, it really wasn't a 4. As much as I like John Dorie, it wasn't a 4.
Okay, so you were gonna understand when I tell you my good why I rated it so highly. I rated it a 4.9 rotten teeth.
Oh my god. It is not a Rick blasting Summer the teddy bear zombie in the face. It is not.
You'll totally get it.
Oh my god. All right. All right. Okay. I'm going to take a deep breath.
All right. So tell us about our writer and director.
Our writer was David Johnson, apparently not to be confused with David Leslie McGoldrick Johnson, right? That guy. So that
completely explains why you have 6 names.
Right. So this is like,
you don't want to be confused.
This is like Dave Johnson, aka David Johnson. Apparently no relationship to David Leslie McGoldrick Johnson.
We're going to call him Davy J from now on.
So this guy has 2 writer credits. He has written for Fear the Walking Dead. He is credited as a staff writer for 16 episodes. He has written 3. This episode, Today and Tomorrow, which was a completely unforgettable episode, or forgettable episode last season. I don't even remember what it was about.
Yeah, I was going to say, what?
Right? And then Channel 4, which we previously established was awful. Directed by Dan Liu, who directed World Beyond this week. And then he wrote for a 2015 TV series called The Following.
Which is a really good show.
Oh, really?
I really wish they would have continued it. It was about an FBI agent who is Kevin Bacon. So already, that's awesome. Who is basically... The adversary is a cult leader, and all of his horrible cult members who do terrible things, and like, it's such a good show. and it's one of those that got canceled before its time, so it never had a resolution. And oh God, Kevin Bacon doesn't age, so you could probably still do, like, you could renew the season and you could give me some closure. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about the following.
Oh my God. All right. We've talked about the director before. This guy's name is Ron Underwood. He's got 59 director credits. For Fear the Walking Dead, he directed this, and he directed 210 words per minute, which was where we get the story about Grace listening to all of her books on, like, double speed so she can get through them. The reason that I remembered we had talked about this guy is he actually was the director of Tremors, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yes. So, man, if Kevin Bacon were COVID, we'd all have it. There's one for you, Phil.
There you go. I still like the black and white movie is the same as reading a book, though.
It counts.
So the other thing that I noticed in Ron Underwood's director credits is that he has worked on a ton of reboots, and I have a little bit less respect for him. So he's done the Hawaii Five-0 reboot. He's done the Magnum P.I. reboot. He's worked on the MacGyver reboot. I'm reminding myself that he directed Tremors. He was also involved in some episodes of Once Upon a Time, which we know has a Karen David crossover, and also has an Andrew Chambliss and Ian Goldberg crossover.
And Shaniqua Martin Green. And,
right. Because she played... who did she play? Can't remember.
Oh, and what's his name? Who just died? Sadiq.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in it. Like, so many
Walking Dead alum.
Yeah. Yep.
And this guy has, I kind of just went through and cherry picked. He also has worked on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which definitely needs to be on my list. I know.
Season 1 was amazing. It was weird in season 2. I think I've watched a couple of episodes of season 3. I really need to pick it back up because I really want to watch Agent Carter. Yeah.
Phil Coulson. I love Phil Coulson.
Of course.
Yeah, he's awesome. But it's one more thing that I don't have time in my life for right now.
So he directed a couple episodes of the 2017-2018 show The Good Fight, which is kind of a follow compendium sideshow of The Good Wife, which I love both.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yep, it takes the universe and a few of the characters and continues the story, basically. Which I think it's kind of like what Fear did, It's a clever way to continue the story without your main actors.
Huh.
Yep.
Well, I think that kind of gets us into our goods, bads, and uglies for Fear.
It does. Do you
So,
want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I think I went first last time. You can go first this time.
I actually went first last time, but that means you just went. You just gave us your ugly.
Oh my goodness, so it totally didn't stick. Okay.
So I'm actually switching my
I'm a little punchy because we podcasted for like 2 hours last night, and I had my boobs squished today, and it's just been a long day.
So, ladies, get your mammograms. Diane and I have actually both had our mammograms within this past week. Save the tatas.
And mine, just, because you really need TMI, was a follow-up on an abnormal. So please make sure. And I'm okay.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I actually switched my good and my ugly around. So this was my ugly, but it is now my good because I really need to explain my 4.9 rating. All right.
Okay, lay it on me.
This was an episode of Forensic Files mixed with a spaghetti western.
Okay, I can actually see that with a zombie movie thrown in.
Yes. Like, you know me and all of my FBI files, forensic files, unsolved mysteries, like How to Get Away with Murder, like all of that. Like I watch all of the ID shows.
I'm just gonna
So,
chop him up and feed him to sled dogs. So, you know, when somebody goes missing, somebody,
right?
because they'll
So,
eat anything.
just FYI, if you are going to put somebody through a wood chipper, you need to freeze them first, otherwise it gums up the gears. Just saying.
Well, and so the wood chipper, we're totally off base now. The wood chipper murder in Connecticut, like way back before I went to school in Connecticut, they ID'd that victim by DNA from her fingernails.
Yep. And just remember, the hair decomposes last. You got to get rid of that scalp.
God, we're awful.
So that is why this episode rated so highly for me, is because it was a crime show in the Walking Dead universe.
So
and I'm totally here for it.
There was an episode, and I'm not going to be able to pull out of my brain which episode it was. I'm fairly sure it was in season 9 that was basically a whodunit in the main series.
So it was the one where, wasn't it the one where somebody lets walkers into Alexandria and Rick has a struggle with one and then winds up beating that guy to death? Is that the one?
No, dude, that was way back in season 5.
Was it? Oh
Yeah.
my God. 2020 has been like 7 years long.
No, and the reason that I remember this is because I remember them going through the woods with flashlights, and there was a lot of stuff that kind of illuminated green because of the foliage. And I was like, this is right out of the X-Files, except it's in Walking Dead. So, yeah. So it's not the first time we've had a whodunit in the Walking Dead universe, but yes, I will give you... I will give you a pass. I personally don't think this is a 4.9, but I will give you a pass.
You know me and my crime shows. I just think the girls from My Favorite Murder need to do an episode about this episode. Because this was my favorite murder episode.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
All right. So now you get my 4.9 rating because, yeah, crime show. Awesome.
Yeah.
What was your good?
So my good, and this kind of goes for all of the episodes that we've had of Fear so far, I'm really loving Morgan's little scenes because they're very self-contained and they're little mini stories that actually are moving the season forward.
Mm-hmm. And he's our thread.
Yes. And I love his interaction with that dog.
Okay, and there was only one dog.
You're right. There's only one dog. I don't know why I thought there were 2 dogs, but there's only one dog.
Yeah,
and
I love the dog's groans because, like, seriously, when the dog was answering back, I was like, "That's so small."
That's totally what I was thinking too.
Yep.
And so the other thing, I have a request to the people at Funko, the good people at Funko, which Thomas O'Mara did point out to me a few episodes ago. No, they are not going under. Apparently, they were having some financial difficulty, or maybe they were shutting some stores, but they're not going under. That's my interpretation of what he said. That's not what he said. That's my misremembering of what he said.
Basically, the article that we saw was clickbait.
Okay.
We both were super suspicious of it because it's like
no, I wasn't super suspicious of it. I was like, this is the most horrible news I've ever had.
I know people, like, I literally know people who've spent hundreds of dollars on Funkos, and I'm like, how? There's a whole Reddit thread about am I the a-hole? And it's a guy who's basically facing divorce because his wife hates his Funko addiction. And I just don't see how a company that sells that many plastic figurines from China goes under. Like, that has to be mismanagement or embezzlement or something. So no, Funko is not going under. It's clickbait.
Well, I just want to know when the Bloodhound gets a name, because I remember that there were names, but I don't remember the names. I think it was Rufus, but I'm not sure. And
Don't
I want
kill the dog.
And I want to know when the dog gets his own Funko, because
there's Smalls wants to know too.
Smalls wants to know, because I need him on the shelf next to my Funko of Dog from the main series.
I'm just saying, like, that dog needs some kind of award because that was great acting.
I love that dog.
That
Dog needs to come live in a little tiny cabin in Alaska with 3 other dogs and a cat.
The dog can't die. Like, seriously, like, we did it on Prime. We're doing it on Fear now. If dog dies, we riot.
Right. All right. What was your bad?
So I had a really hard time coming up with a bad because I really liked this episode so much. And the only thing that I could really come up with was I really didn't like John's outburst with Strand. Like,
oh my God, that was one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Well, no, and so I really didn't like it just because, like, I really, John is such a good guy, and he's such an even character that, like, I can see him, like, punching Strand and, like, but, like, the knockdown, drag out, I'm gonna reach for my pistol fight went a little over what I think of what John Dorie's character would do. Like, I don't think that he would have snapped that badly just because of, I can't remember her name, the laundress.
Janice.
Who
you can see I paid a lot better attention to this episode than I did to World Beyond.
You did, but I just can't. I really didn't like the knockdown, drag out, I'm gonna kill Strand fight, and like, again, we see Strand is kind of willing to do a lot of really dirty work, but I really don't think John Dorie would have taken it that far.
I was totally down with Strand getting cold cocked. It was good.
Cold cocked, but not like John Dorie's gonna reach for his pistol and blow Strand's brains out in the middle of the street. Plus, like, people are gonna come watch the spectacle of the former peacekeeper tangled in the razor wire, but none of us are even going to take a second look at these two brawling it out in the middle of the street.
Right.
Okay. All right. So what was your bad?
So my bad was the reintroduction of June. And I will explain why. Because it should have been spectacular. It should have been fire. But instead, it was a bribe to keep Dorie quiet. I'm so disappointed. I mean, it should have been the heavens opened up and the angels sang and rainbows were everywhere, and no. No, it was like, hey, babe, I'm gonna go clean myself up. Yeah, I'm feeling kind of bad about myself. Bye.
Pull a tooth.
Yeah.
Okay, I will absolutely give you that. So my ugly was June coming back because I'm really happy that she came back, and I really also like the fact that Ginny's like, yeah, so this comes with privileges.
Right, I'm gonna make this totally worth your while, big boy.
Oh, and like, how do you not cave to that bribe? Like, you're like, all right, you know, okay. Yeah. So your bad was my ugly, and I totally get why you made it your bad, because I kind of feel like too, because I mean, this is an epic love. We open the show with my dearest Junebug. The days are long without you. Right?
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, I was just so happy for the return of John and June that I overlooked the fact that it should have been fireworks and it wasn't. So, okay. We've talked about your good and my ugly. So, what is your ugly? I'm sorry, your bad and my ugly.
So Smalls is giving you a preview. It actually was a bad ugly. I just kept feeling like I was missing something, like a cog that kept slipping that just wouldn't catch. Like, I feel like there was this huge symbolism with the tooth going bad and Dorie pulling it himself. And I didn't get it. I felt really dumb. And then I didn't get why John would go up against Ginny when it's so obvious that he's drunk the Kool-Aid. I mean, the first thing that we get of him after he gets up and gets out of his house is he's marching along in his little hat with one side turned up. And I was like, okay, talk about caving. That just feels bad. Why would Janice sacrifice herself? I don't get that either. I mean, was it because she felt like, okay, there's no way I'm getting out of this, so I might as well die and not let Dorie die with me? I just felt like I didn't get it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk you down just a little bit, but I also I'm kind of on the same path as you with the tooth thing. So, one, the tooth thing, the only thing that I could really extract...
Very good. Like what you did there.
Right? Pause for laughter. So the only thing that I really could think of is so you know how when you have a tooth that hurts or maybe like a bump on your tongue or something, you can't stop playing with it.
I see where you're headed there.
Yeah.
So
he just couldn't let it go.
So the whole mystery about Cameron was niggling at him like the pain from that bad tooth.
Yep. And
okay, that's fair. That's fair because I was looking for big symbolism and I just couldn't see it.
So it was just nagging at him and he couldn't stop picking at it. And then at the end, when he got June because he kept his damn mouth shut, he got to pull the tooth. It was like, I can stop. Right? You can see it.
I'm not quite there with the very last part of it, but I'm totally down with I'm poking at this like I poke at a sore spot in my mouth with my tongue.
Yep. So that's exactly what he did. And God, what was the other thing, the symbolism that you didn't get?
So I didn't get why he would go up against Ginny, and I didn't get why Janice would sacrifice herself.
Okay, the only thing I can think of with Janice sacrificing herself is that her menial job of being the laundress every day, day after day, that's what she was going to do until she died, and she falls in love with this guy and he's in love with her, and they know that if they try to do anything real about it, that Jenny is going to split them up. I don't know why. I don't know why Jenny does that. But so that guy dies. What else you got? You and I in the past week have been very, very low. Work has sucked.
But you know what? We're both still here.
But Janice gave up. She didn't see any future for herself without the Cameron. And, she was just tired. You've survived this long in the apocalypse, and things just keep getting taken away from you. Just give up.
I don't know. It was kind of weak.
I agree. But that's what I come up with.
Okay.
All
right. So I think we're soundly into Rotting Potpourri, and I'm going to give us 15 minutes, and then I'm cutting us off.
I don't even need that. The only thing that I have in my rotting potpourri is wow, we dispatched the key guys really quickly in this season.
Oh, right. So, I mean, obviously something is going to happen. We're going to make contact with other people who are involved with that plot line. Obviously, because they're not going to just leave it. Well, they might. I mean, it is the two knuckleheads. But
So I really liked how they thought that Morgan was the bounty hunter.
because of the truck.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
truck and like the whole look, you know? And so they're like, "Where's the key?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I kind of like the whole mistaken identity. Like, I know what I'm talking about. What the hell are you talking about? Like, I kind of liked that sort of, And Morgan's like, "Did you hit me on purpose? Because now would be a really good time to."
That was a great
apologize.
line. Now would be
Yeah.
a really good time to say I'm sorry.
Yeah. And like, I thought it was interesting how the dog kind of had a sixth sense that he was like, I'll be down here. I don't get seatbelts, so I'm just going to crawl down into the floorboard so I don't go flying through the windshield. Yeah. That's all I got for Rotting Potpourri. There, like I said, I seriously, I think I probably have 8 lines written down for my notes for this episode, and one of them, the longest one of them, is like a 10-word sentence because I think this episode spoke for itself. I really liked this episode.
Okay, well, buckle up because I got a few more things to say.
All right, yeah, I mean it's the opposite. I had the thing, all the stuff about the world beyond, so go for it, girl.
Okay, so Thomas O'Mara sent me a message earlier today, and he was like, "You're gonna love this. It's so great. You're gonna want to watch it again." And it totally made me think of Laura. There's so many callbacks to the episode Laura, and all I can say is, Tom, I think it's been too long since I've watched that episode because I didn't see them, and I know you're gonna hate me for saying that, but here we are.
Yeah, you need to elaborate because I don't know what you're talking about, and I loved the episode.
I loved Dorie as the title card. I'm really liking what they're doing with the title cards. I loved the blue tones kind of as the wash.
I feel like he was wearing his original hat though,
Yes.
and not the
ridiculous
Ginny
hat. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I don't remember hearing the biters referred to as the past. Like as those who have passed on. A couple of times in this episode, Dorie referred to them as the past.
It sounds familiar to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of thought maybe I've heard that before, but I just didn't have a strong memory of it, and I like that.
I don't think he talks about the walkers that much.
Ginny's poker face is terrible. Terrible. I mean, she kept looking over at Dorie, like, during the funeral service, like, "Oh my God, don't overthink this. Don't overthink this because I'm hiding something. I really am."
Well, and like every time she called Dakota away, it's like, yeah, no, don't be any less obvious.
Right. I was happy to see the rabbi again, briefly.
Me too.
I'm not quite sure why Janice decided to engage in the terrible timing of trying to run off so they could frame her. I wasn't quite clear on that either. Maybe it's because she was giving up on everything and trying to escape. I'll give you that.
Okay, so everyone had terrible timing on this. Like, so when Jenny was like, just drop it. And like that very night, John Dorie goes and digs up Cameron's grave. I'm like, wait a day, dude. Like, she's totally on to you. Just wait a day. I actually thought those two walkers were like basically navigated into him so that like it's like, oh, he was digging up a grave, so the walkers got him. Like I thought that she had set that up. Turns out like she probably didn't. But I was just like, you're under wicked scrutiny. Like, just chill. And so, same thing, like your Cameron's funeral, like you're gonna sneak out, really? Okay.
Another thing that I thought, not so much terrible timing, but just Dakota seems to know an awful lot and seems really intent on undermining her sister.
Right. And like, Ginny is super just a terrible, underhanded, diabolical person. So I'm like, does she really have that much attachment to her sister that she's not like, yeah, you're going to meet with an unfortunate accident, you know? Like, I feel like Ginny is such a terrible person that I can't see her letting that loose end fly.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the whole Dakota storyline is kind of weird.
Yeah, kids are creepy anyway, though. So,
did you note that Ginny killed Janice exactly the way she described having that person killed early on in the first settlement that she was in?
Yep.
And thank you, Eric Kane. So Janice's zombie was a callback to Bicycle Girl.
Yep, I got that too.
Right down to the way that Dorie put her down.
I honestly was like, when he first came upon her,
weren't you expecting him to say, I'm sorry?
No, not really. I was kind of caught up in the, like, so he had put down the 4 walkers that were eating her, and I was sort of preoccupied with, oh my God, did those 4 walkers really, like, eat her entire upper half, including her skull?
Well, that one walker ate all of Lori. Remember?
Very true. Very, very true. Like, yeah. Totally bloated, pregnant walker. Nothing left of Lori.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, the good old days.
Another thing that I noticed when Ginny was giving her speech and she was giving her key to Dorie, she refers to her towns as franchises.
Oh my God!
Just
I did
makes me
not
think
catch
of like
that.
McDonald's, and it was just not that I have anything against McDonald's. It was just gross. I just hated the way that she referred to the communities like that.
I did not catch that. That's amazing.
She's a horrible person. Yes.
Franchises, like it's Humbug Gulch or something.
So when Morgan was saying to the dog, I don't really want to go back to the Gulch, but if I have to, was he talking about Humbug Gulch?
Yes, he was, because so Daniel Salazar had gotten him the hoodie that Grace was wearing, and the dog sniffed it, and he's like, okay, do I take you back?
Was that the last place that he saw her, at Humbug's Gulch?
Yes.
Was that where we ended last season?
Yeah.
See, so it was all such a horrible
was herded into
blur.
Separate cars, and Morgan was shot.
It was all such a horrible blur.
Right?
I had forgotten that we ended last season at Humbug's Gulch.
Well, it's because 2020 has been 7 years long, and it started 3 months ago. So, time isn't real, and I'm not convinced I am either. So,
I am right there with ya.
Yep.
I don't think I have anything else, actually, except, again, obviously we're going to get the Tagger story somewhere. And I was super happy that Morgan killed them. I really feel like that's forward movement in Morgan's character. And boy, he's got a lot of spunk for somebody who was nearly dead like a week ago.
Yeah, so after his accident, like, okay, I loved that he checked on the dog first. He was like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh my God, my shoulder. Like, I totally get that. Like, you make sure the dog's okay first, and then it's like, ouch. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to bust some heads, Like, you better apologize for that. So he did have a little bit of like, oh, that kind of hurt a little. That ripped a stitch, And then it was like, no, I'm going to totally gut this dude. Yeah.
It was pretty great.
It was.
I was pretty happy to see Morgan no longer be the all life is precious, take what you want, leave what you don't, Morgan. I think we're past that, Morgan.
And it was very surprising. I was like, oh my God, who's in the other car? Was that really on purpose? Because you basically did a pit maneuver on him. So that's kind of intentional. I don't see how cars don't see each other coming at a four-way intersection when you kind of should be hyper aware for movement in the apocalypse. But I was like, oh my God, who's in the other car? Who's in the other car? And then it was Key Guys. And I was really surprised that we dispatched them before getting the story about the key. So
it just means that it's a bigger community and a bigger conspiracy, and we still have to solve the mystery of the submarine that the Look at the Flowers gang is going to fix and put back in the water. They're going to put it back in the water without any like real labor even.
We're going to world beyond this, and we're going to get a stick, and we're going to like just push it into the water. The Look at the Flowers kids are going to fix it, and Grace is going to keep it running with a gas generator. Yep.
All while she's nursing her baby with one hand and keeping the Ginny going with the other.
And her kid and baby Morgan's kids are going to be besties.
Yes.
The next generation.
Oh my God. The world beyond. Beyond the world beyond.
The world beyond. Okay. Past Rotting Potpourri, we are in listener feedback.
Yes, and bless her heart, we had feedback last week about the Dwight and Al-centric episode.
I am not kidding you. We signed off and went, oh crap.
So this is from Trish Murphy, and she said, just watch Alaska. So much better than the Strand episode. Not a huge Strand fan for a while now. Can't wait to hear you podcast on it. And I thanked her, and I said, I was so disappointed because Lenny James directed it, and I wanted it to be so much better, and Strand had so much potential. And she said, agreed, love Dwight, though. We'll be listening. You two bring so much more to the show. Take care. So that was just some very nice feedback. Thank you, Trish.
Yes.
And thank you for waiting for us to get your feedback in this week because we screwed up and stopped taping.
It's because we digress.
We digress a lot.
Right? Which is why we started a second podcast.
Right.
You can go listen to that and like us on Facebook at The Real Housewives of Alaska on Facebook. Plug.
And I have to tell you, it was so funny. So one of my friends was like, you talk for like 2 hours.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's because we don't edit. And, yeah. Editing's for sissies.
Says the woman who's not even editing the music in. But that's okay. I'm not ready to release Control, so
I was going to say, it's because somebody's a control freak.
Yeah, someone is a total control freak.
Yep. All right. So we had more listener feedback for one of our posts for last episode.
Did we? Oh, okay.
So you had posted, so seriously, did you loathe the world beyond as much as Die, or are you a kinder, gentler Marn? And wasn't fear fab? Enjoy. So Phil said the world beyond seemed so long. Fear was good, quote unquote, kinder, gentler Marnell, question mark. Ha 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 ha. Brian Eikenberry, former Biters podcaster family.
Who is interested in coming back and doing an episode with us, so we need to talk with him about that.
Definitely. But apparently it's not going to be the world beyond because he said WB is so annoying.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay. Thomas O'Mara, it's borderline for me right now, but then I remember how much I loathe Fear the Whopping
Fear the Whopping Dead.
We're gonna say that from now on. Fear the Whopping Dead, season 2, and the beginning of season 3, and see how well it turned around. Yes, I do. I loved this episode. It was a 4.9, but we are actually talking about the last episode, Alaska, which wasn't as great, but still great.
Fabulous. The last one was fabulous.
Totally copped out on the Alaska thing. I thought we were going to get something about Alaska, but it was about our driver licenses. Anyway, Trish Murphy again in the comments. Thank you so much. Liked it more than Die, but may have a fear carryover. I watched it first. So she was talking about liking The World Beyond, but it's probably because she was still high on Fear the Walking Dead. Totally get it. You know, I do have a tendency, because we do listen to Diana and Steve, and they kind of tend to influence, at least they influence me in which order I watch them. So I will usually watch The World Beyond and then Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if it'll continue that way, but I will continue to take their advice, because I tend to agree with them. Not so much. I don't like, you guys have really harshed on World Beyond. I get it, but it's probably because I'm slightly younger than y'all, but not by much. Not by much.
That was a little bit of shade.
Yeah, it was, because it's only because I'm bitter because I'm going through the great change before you are, and you're 10 years older than me.
That was even more shade. All right, let's wrap this sucker up, because I have charting to do. And I've got podcasts to listen to, because now I can listen to Diana and Steve.
And I have to get up in the morning and go vote, and then have my tires switched to snow tires, because Old Man Winter has definitely arrived to Southeast Alaska.
All right, so
we don't know what we're podcasting again for the Real Housewives of Alaska, but you can go catch up on hopefully at least 2 out of 3 of the episodes we've podcasted with. We will continue to watch both World Beyond and Fear the Walking Dead for now.
We're halfway through World Beyond, man.
Whoa, we're halfway there.
And I am living on a prayer.
A hope and a prayer. All right, everybody. So until next week, just remember, take it one dead day at a time. Have a good week, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye. Bye.